Good morning, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to join this important discussion today. What we're going to talk about isn't just another leadership initiative. This is about how we lead together and what that means for our people, our patients, and our purpose. Emotional intelligence is not just a concept. It is a skill set, a mindset, and a leadership imperative in today's healthcare environment. This presentation outlines the challenges we're facing as a team, the research that supports emotional intelligence, and a clear plan of action to transform how we lead together. Let's begin by being honest about where we are at. Many of us are working hard, but not together. We are seeing patterns of siloed decision-making, missed opportunities for collaboration, and frustration across levels of leadership. Our departments are disconnected, and this is feeding a culture of disengagement. Communication is often reactive rather than proactive, and truthfully, many of us are feeling burnt out. We are not failing as individuals, but we are falling short as a team. And as Carson Dye reminds us in Leadership in Healthcare, high-performing leaders recognize that results are tied directly to relationships. Without strong relationships built on trust and emotional awareness, even the best strategy will fail in execution. Now let's talk about the cost of this dysfunction, not just to our team, but to our organization as a whole. When leaders are disconnected, staff notices, morale suffers, staff begin to feel unsupported, communication gaps widen, and ultimately our patients' experience is affected. We've seen patient satisfaction scores declining. We're noticing avoidable conflict among teams. Workflows are inefficient because departments are not aligned. Couder and Friel note in nursing management, leadership behaviors rooted in emotional intelligence are essential to maintaining high-functioning healthcare environments. Without emotional intelligence, we risk further disengagement, turnover, and deteriorating care quality. It is time to intervene intentionally and strategically. Let's begin with a foundational understanding of emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman, one of the foremost researchers on the subject, defines it as the capacity to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, while also being able to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. Goleman's framework includes 5 key domains, each critical in a healthcare setting. 1. Self-awareness. This is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It is the ability to recognize our own emotional states and understand how they affect our behavior. In a healthcare leadership context, this might mean recognizing when stress or frustration is influencing our tone with staff, or when bias is shaping our decision. 2. Self-regulation. This is about managing those emotions, especially in high-pressure situations. It's the difference between responding and reacting. Leaders with high self-regulation pause before they speak, de-escalate conflict, and model emotional steadiness. 3. Motivation. Not just external drive, but intrinsic motivation to achieve purpose-driven goals. Leaders with high motivation maintain focus during crises and lead with energy and optimism. 4. Empathy. This is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It is essential for building trust with patients, managing teams, and resolving conflict. In a healthcare environment, empathy isn't optional. It's a clinical skill and a leadership asset. 5. Social skills. These are relationship management tools, influencing others, communicating effectively, resolving conflict, and building consensus. These skills are at the heart of collaboration across units and disciplines. There's robust evidence that emotional intelligence directly impacts outcomes in healthcare. Couder and Friel's work published in Nursing Management shows that nurse leaders with higher emotional intelligence are strongly associated with positive staff perceptions of communication, collaboration, and safety climate. They found that the higher the emotional intelligence score of the nurse leader, the more positively staff rated the environment in terms of teamwork and quality of care. In other words, the emotional skill of the leader shapes the performance of the team. Why does this matter for us? Because disengagement, communication, and burnout are not just performance issues, they are safety risks. Developing emotional intelligence in leaders improves patient experience, reduces turnover, and strengthens interdisciplinary care. This is not isolated to nursing or unit management. Emotional intelligence is foundational to successful executive leadership. In the Focus Leader from the Harvard Business Review, Goleman writes, "A leader's primary task is to guide attention, our own and that of others." He explains that leaders who can manage attention, especially under stress, are better able to lead effectively during change, crisis, or transformation. Focus is a product of emotional regulation. Carson Dye reinforces this in Leadership in Healthcare, stating, "Emotionally intelligent leaders use feedback, self-control, and interpersonal insight to build cultures of safety, respect, and performance." A study published in BMC Medical Education found that high emotional intelligence skills are associated with lower burnout rates among residency and fellowship program directors. The study concluded that the positive impact of emotional intelligence skills are not only limited to elevating leaders' well-being and increased retention, but also improves the well-being and productivity of the team and contributes to maintaining effective communication and a supportive culture. These findings affirm that emotional intelligence isn't just a nice to have, it is a leadership imperative. It directly supports our ability to navigate high-stress environments, build cohesive teams, and protect our workforce from burnout and attrition. The first step in our plan is to start with ourselves. Each of us will complete a confidential emotional intelligence self-assessment, followed by a 2-hour leadership workshop that introduces the 5 domains and how they show up in our behavior. This is not about judgment, it is about growth. We also reflect as a team on how our current leadership culture supports or inhibits trust and collaboration. Dye writes, "Self-awareness is the cornerstone of ethical leadership. Leaders must be able to recognize when their emotions are distorting decisions or diminishing trust. This process will help each of us gain that clarity." Next, we will rebuild trust and connection with our team. We will hold quarterly team-building exercises focused on emotional awareness, listening, and feedback. In addition, each monthly leadership meeting will reserve time for open discussion, not just agenda items. This gives space for reflection and real conversation. We also pair department leaders in monthly peer coaching partnerships. These relationships create accountability, empathy, and cross-department insight. Over time, this will shift our culture from guarded to connected. Finally, we expand this effort to the entire organization. All middle managers will be trained on emotional intelligence principles. We'll integrate emotional intelligence into leadership, evaluations, and onboarding. Incentives will begin to reflect not just individual metrics, but collaborative goals. Toolkits will be provided to help managers model and teach emotional intelligence on their units. We'll also develop digital learning modules for easy access and reinforcement. In Dye's words, "Culture is the shadow of leadership. If we want a collaborative, resilient culture, we must lead in a way that reflects those values every day." So how will we know if this is working? Our measurement plan includes baseline and follow-up staff engagement surveys, 360-degree feedback for leadership, patient experience metrics like HCA, HPS, and turnover rates and internal promotion rates reviewed. This will all take place over a 12-month span, broken down as you can see here in the timeline. To ensure consistency, emotional intelligence concepts will be built into onboarding and coaching for all new leaders, and department heads will receive quarterly check-ins and support tools. This initiative will live beyond this room. It will become part of our leadership DNA. In closing, Carson Dye wrote, "The difference between a competent leader and a great one lies in the ability to build emotional connections that inspire trust and loyalty. This is our opportunity to become great, not just effective, but transformational. By developing emotional intelligence within ourselves and our teams, we're not only improving communication and morale, we're improving outcomes. We are shaping a culture where people want to work, where patients feel seen and heard, and where excellence is sustainable. I am fully committed to this journey and believe that we can lead this transformation together."